This is your final heavenly notice. Satan attacking your $500,000 transfer tonight. Why you? Why now? Archangel Michael has the answer. Tonight carries unusual weight in the heavens. This is not an ordinary evening, nor is it an ordinary message. A divine alert has been sounded in the courts above, and all creation holds its breath in anticipation. Hear this clearly. This is not tomorrow's word, not next week's prophecy, not a general encouragement. This is a message carved out of eternity for this very hour, for this very moment. Tonight, the heavens bend close to deliver a notice that cannot be ignored. Archangel Michael, the warrior of light, stands on watch. His sword glows with fire, his wings cast shadows over the battlefield, and his eyes pierce through every veil of deception. And yet, though he stands guard with steadfast power, he brings a word of concern, a warning that demonic interference has been released specifically against you. This is no random strike, no casual opposition. Hell itself has marked this night, setting snares and crafting schemes to intercept what heaven has already sealed in your name. This word is not for everyone. It is not for the curious, not for the half-hearted, not for those passing by with idle ears. It is for the chosen one whose transfer, breakthrough, and destiny is under direct assault tonight. You, the one whose inheritance has been targeted. You, the one whose covenant blessing has drawn attention from the pits of darkness. Tonight, the adversary makes his move because the weight of what is being released threatens his hold on territory long kept under his control. Understand this. The $500,000 marked for you is not merely money. It is mantle, mission, and movement. It is kingdom work rising, generational wounds healing, and divine justice breaking forth. That is why the attack is fierce. That is why the timing is critical. The enemy fears what will happen when this release touches your hands. But heaven gives conditions. Stillness, obedience, and silence will determine whether this promise reaches you intact. For in silence, the snare loses power. In obedience, the gates remain open. In stillness, the angelic host prevails. This is your final notice. Heaven has spoken. Tonight, everything shifts. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. Hear me now, for the hour is urgent. The warrior of heaven, Archangel Michael, stands at the threshold of this night with his sword drawn, burning with holy fire. His stance is immovable, his gaze unshaken, his command absolute. He does not step into battle without cause, and tonight, beloved, he has been summoned to defend what belongs to you. The heavenly alarm has sounded, and the gates of eternity are opened wide. What you feel stirring in your spirit right now is not imagination. It is a call to attention. The heavenly courts are in session. Before midnight strikes, decisions will be made in the spiritual courts. Documents are being reviewed, decrees are being sealed, and angels are being dispatched with orders that will alter the course of destinies. This is not tomorrow's burden, not next week's concern. It is the warfare of now. And only those attuned to this frequency will feel the trembling in their bones and the burning in their chest as the Spirit bears witness that they are the one marked for this release. The books of heaven are open, and names are being spoken aloud. Do you hear it? Do you sense it? The sound of your name echoes in the courts of glory, even as the adversary hurls accusations to block your blessing. Tonight, records are weighed. Tonight, your obedience is examined. Tonight, your inheritance is decided. This message is selective. Not everyone can bear its weight. Only those chosen for this financial release, this $500,000 covenant transfer, will feel the shaking as they hear these words. For the rest, it will pass like wind, but for you, it pierces like fire. The spirit inside you will not allow you to hear and remain indifferent, because you are standing on the edge of a divine courtroom decision. But there is a warning. Distractions are being set against you. Doubts are being whispered into your mind. A casual attitude will become the thief that strips away your confirmation. If you approach this word with weariness, with indifference, or with divided attention, you risk missing what heaven is pressing urgently into your spirit. The adversary knows he cannot stop the decree, but if he can blind your hearing, if he can clog your focus, if he can turn this moment into noise instead of command, then he will have succeeded in robbing you of timing. So cast away distraction. Resist the urge to scroll past or wander in thought. Fix your spirit as a flint. For Archangel Michael does not draw his sword in vain. His presence signals a battle of consequence. His appearance declares, this night is a turning point. The atmosphere is charged, the angels aligned, and the courts prepared. Will you remain attentive, or will you let the moment slip through unguarded hands? Hear me, heaven's power is on your side. But heaven requires your stillness, your reverence, your unshaken faith. You are not a spectator. You are the one written in the decree. This is your end. This is your summons. This is your notice. Raise your spirit high, for the hour of decision has come. Type them in to get blessings 1414. There are eyes watching you, though they never announce themselves. There are whispers circling your name, though they pretend silence when you enter the room. There are hidden observers, keeping track of your every move, not out of admiration, but out of anticipation of failure. They wait at a distance, holding their breath, watching to see if your breakthrough will collapse at the edge, as it has before. You feel it, don't you? The quiet surveillance, the silent critics, the ones who smile to your face but secretly expect your downfall. This is no illusion. This is spiritual reconnaissance. Hell assigns agents, not only demons in the unseen, but also people in the natural realm, to monitor the trajectory of those heaven has marked for greatness. They sense something is moving in your life. They feel the vibrations of what is on the way. But heaven in its wisdom has sealed the full magnitude from their knowledge. They only perceive the shadows, not the figure. They sense a release, but they do not know the exact figure written in heaven's book, $500,000, sealed and stamped beside your name. That secrecy frustrates them, because suspicion without clarity breeds anxiety, and the adversary trembles at what he cannot fully see. Have you not noticed how gossip rises without reason? How financial delays seem to appear without explanation? how agreements collapse at the final hour. It is not random. These disruptions are not coincidence. They are echoes of unseen resistance, movements designed to disrupt your peace and plant confusion in your soul. And here is the mystery. Why does the collapse always come when you are closest to breakthrough? Why does peace turn to chaos at the final signature, the final confirmation, the final step? Why do blessings slip through your hands just as you are about to grasp them? These are not accidents. These are tactical strikes engineered to disrupt your spirit, to plant seeds of doubt, to cause you to question whether you are truly chosen. But hear this. The stirring around you is not proof of weakness. It is proof of weight. Forces rise not because of who you are in the natural, but because of what you carry in the spirit. They are shaken because they cannot control what heaven has already ordained. Their schemes are loud because their power is limited. Their disruption is noisy because their grip is slipping. Yes, there is confusion, but do not misinterpret it. Emotional disruption is not evidence of abandonment, but confirmation of alignment. Heaven is shifting, and the adversary is panicking. Tonight, the storm is proof that the treasure is near. Remain still, for clarity is coming. Remain silent, for revelation is on its way. What others whisper about you, heaven is declaring in your favor. What others expect to collapse, heaven has decreed to stand. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. Beloved, if this word is igniting something deep within you, then hear me. This message is more than sound. It is seed. Every time you sow into the word, you partner with heaven in releasing light into places where darkness thought it could reign. When you give through super thanks, membership, or even through the PayPal link in the description, you are not merely supporting a channel, you are opening a stream that heaven uses to reach more souls like you. The same way seed brings harvest, your giving becomes oil on the altar, fueling the fire of God's message to nations. The Spirit says, "Those who water others will themselves be watered." I invite you personally, step into this flow and let your gift become the river that carries life to the dry and weary. For as you give, heaven seals your own harvest with divine acceleration. Do not delay, obey. Release what is in your hand, and heaven will release what has been held in reserve for you. Listen carefully, for what you face tonight is not about money. Do not be deceived into thinking this is only about currency, bank accounts, or digits on a screen. No, beloved. This is about covenant. This is about purpose. This is about heaven's positioning for your life and the generations that will follow. The $500,000 that is marked with your name is not simply provision. It is power. It is destiny. It is alignment with God's divine order. When heaven releases this transfer, it does more than supply. It establishes, it redeems, it repositions. That is why the adversary has made you a target. Not because of your weakness, but because of your calling. Hear me well. The adversary does not war against empty vessels. He wars against vessels chosen to pour. He wars against those whose increase carries impact. This financial battle you face tonight is evidence that your life carries a mantle that terrifies hell. If this were only about bills, about personal comfort, about a temporary relief, the enemy would not waste his resources. But because this covenant transfer will fund kingdom work, because it will rescue others, because it will shift lineage patterns and rewrite generational stories, the attack has been launched with precision. The testing you feel is not punishment. It is measurement. Heaven watches not only what you believe, but how you respond under fire. Every sigh, every prayer, every hesitation is being weighed in the courts above. The adversary accuses, but the angels observe, and heaven measures. Will you curse the delay, or will you declare the covenant? Will you panic, or will you proclaim? Your reaction becomes the gatekeeper of your release. Understand this truth. The transfer is already sealed. The amount is already written. The decree is already stamped. What remains is not whether heaven will give, but whether you will remain aligned until the moment of release. This conflict is not over the promise. The promise is secure. The conflict is over your posture. If you break alignment, you give the adversary permission to delay. If you remain steadfast, you authorize heaven to release. Think on this. When Israel stood before the Red Sea, the waters were already commanded to part, but their fear almost cost them the miracle. When Daniel prayed, the answer was dispatched on day one, but warfare in the heavens delayed the delivery until persistence unlocked the final breakthrough. So it is with you tonight. The covenant is settled, but the conflict is testing your endurance. So I speak over you now. Do not be moved by appearances. Do not let shifting circumstances trick you into believing the battle is lost. The $500,000 is not merely money. It is mantle. It is message. It is movement. The war is not about finances. It is about foundations. The adversary is terrified of what you will build once this arrives. He is terrified of the souls you will reach, the chains you will break, the healing that will flow through your obedience. That is why you are under attack. Take courage, for Archangel Michael stands watch. Heaven records your faith. And as you hold steady, the decree will manifest. Type "I am guarded" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1717 is now surrounding you. Hear me now, for this night carries a severe warning. The adversary has launched interference against you with precision. This is no vague disturbance, no distant threat. This is a targeted strike against the very release heaven has marked with your name. The $500,000 transfer that has been sealed in the books of heaven is under attack tonight. Satan is moving with cunning intent, seeking to redirect, to delay, and if possible, to devour what belongs to you. The spirit world is alive with activity, and you are at the center of its battlefield. Mark the words I speak. Within 72 hours, the pressure will intensify. You will notice it in conversations that suddenly shift tone, in paperwork that was clear yesterday, but becomes clouded today, in people who once supported you suddenly changing their stance. Agreements may twist, instructions may be altered, paths that seemed straight may suddenly bend. These are not accidents. They are orchestrations. These are the fingerprints of interference, designed to shake your confidence, to tempt you into compromise, to push you into speaking out of turn. And yet, tonight is the pivot point. The next 72 hours will determine the trajectory, but tonight decides the foundation. Tonight, the adversary pushes hard to provoke a reaction because he knows heaven has already prepared the release. If he can disrupt your stillness, he can delay the flow. If he can provoke your voice to speak prematurely, he can fracture alignment. If he can plant fear into your heart, he can slow down what is already racing toward you. Do you not sense it? The atmosphere feels unsettled. The interruptions come faster, the distractions louder. Small things suddenly carry heavy weight, and minor frustrations appear larger than they truly are. This is not coincidence, it is spiritual engineering. Hell watches closely, not to destroy what heaven decreed, but to test whether you will hand over permission by your own impatience. Hear me clearly. Someone is watching your response. Not only in the heavens, where angels and accusers observe, but even in the natural realm. There are eyes on you, waiting to see if you will stumble. There are ears listening, waiting to hear if you will confess defeat. The adversary lurks, not merely through demonic spirits, but through human agents positioned near you, waiting to see whether you will falter in word or deed. I tell you this, though the attack is real, though the interference is intense, heaven has already appointed your defender. Michael stands guard with sword drawn, and every snare set against you is known before it appears. The outcome is not in question, but your endurance is being tested. Tonight, heaven requires your calm, your silence, your steadfast faith. If you remain still, you win. If you react hastily, you risk delay. So hear the warning and heed it. Do not be quick with your tongue. Do not rush with your hands. Do not panic in your thoughts. For tonight the adversary prowls, but tonight also heaven watches. Stand firm, remain aligned, and the interference will fail. The attack is real, but it will not prevail. Type "I will not be moved" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1818 is now released upon you. Beloved, this is the hour when heaven calls you into stillness. Tonight, your greatest weapon is not many words, nor frantic action, nor human striving. No, your shield is silence. Your covering is obedience. Your fortress is trust. For when you resist the urge to react, when you remain unmoved by provocation, you allow heaven to fight on your behalf. Archangel Michael stands with his sword drawn, waiting for your stillness to authorize his strike. Do not be deceived. The adversary will attempt to lure you into arguments, sudden conversations, and unnecessary battles. He will tempt you to announce prematurely, to reveal too much, to move without instruction. But the Spirit whispers, hold your tongue, steady your spirit, wait for my timing. For the promise cannot be stolen unless it is exposed before its appointed release. Tonight, silence is your shield. Hear this with clarity. No hand can touch what heaven has sealed. No thief can enter where Michael stands guard. No demon can rewrite the decree that has been spoken over your life. The $500,000 transfer is not resting in fragile human hands. It is secured in the vaults of heaven, waiting for its moment to manifest in the natural. But your stillness, your obedience, your refusal to be shaken, These are the keys that open the gate at the appointed time. Think of Moses standing before the waters of the Red Sea. The command was not to fight, not to shout, not to panic. The command was, "Be still and see the salvation of the Lord." Stillness became the force that unlocked heaven's intervention. So it is for you tonight. When you resist the urge to scramble, when you hold fast in silence, heaven parts the waters of interference and makes way for your deliverance. You not fear the whispers around you. You not fear the delays or the confusion. They are smoke screens, distractions crafted to shift your gaze. Keep your eyes on the promise, for heaven has not changed its mind. Even when shadows rise, the covenant remains unbroken. Even when the night grows darker, the decree shines brighter. The silence of your obedience speaks louder in the courts of heaven than any argument you could raise in the earth. Affirm this truth in your heart: I will not be moved by what I see. I will not be shaken by what I hear. I will not be provoked by what surrounds me. My silence is strength, my obedience is shield, my trust is weapon. For heaven is moving even when I cannot trace its hand. Beloved, lean into the whispers of the Spirit. Do not dismiss the subtle nudges, for sometimes the quietest voice carries the loudest instruction. The path forward will not be revealed in thunder, but in stillness. Heaven will show you the next step, and it will come in peace, not panic. Take courage. The adversary has struck hard, but heaven surrounds you. The night is fierce, but Michael is fiercer. You are guarded, you are sealed, you are covered. The release is safe in heaven's hands, and so are you. Type "I am covered" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1919 is now activated over your life. Beloved, hear this truth: you are not who they think you are anymore. You are not the fragile soul they once saw trembling in the storms. You are not the one who used to shrink back when warfare came knocking. You are no longer prey, wandering and afraid. Tonight, heaven declares your identity shift. You are a rising flame, a warrior clothed in light, a vessel of authority that darkness can no longer intimidate. The enemy has tried again and again to break you, to delay you, to convince you that loss is your portion. But what he does not realize is that every delay was not destruction, it was preparation. Every setback sharpened your discernment. Every tear baptized your spirit with resilience. Every door that closed trained you to listen more carefully for heaven's true direction. You have been refined in fire, and now you emerge with wings stretching wide, fire burning bright, and authority pulsing through your very breath. The $500,000 transfer is not simply provision. It is proof. Proof that heaven has seen your endurance. Proof that every battle you fought was not in vain. Proof that your faith in the midnight hour was not ignored. This release does not just supply, it announces. It testifies that you are chosen, elevated, and trusted. It is heaven's public declaration that you are stepping into command, no longer tossed by waves, but standing as one who commands the waves to still. See yourself rightly, not as victim, but as commander of breakthrough. The storm no longer dictates your future. You speak, and the storm must listen. The whispers of doubt no longer rule your nights. You declare, and doubt must bow. The shadows no longer hold power. Your flame consumes them. Heaven has shifted your status from survival to dominion. Lift your head high, for your identity is rising. You are clothed in garments of strength. You are adorned with authority. You are armed with faith that cannot be broken. The trials of yesterday were not wasted. They were chiseling you into a vessel worthy of carrying heaven's covenant. You were not abandoned in delay. You were forged in fire. And now, as the release approaches, you stand not as a beggar waiting, but as an heir receiving what is already yours. The Spirit of the Lord declares, you are ascending. What was once closed will open. What was once denied will be released. What was once delayed will arrive in its appointed time. You are no longer trapped in the old cycle. You are no longer bound by the old identity. You are the flame rising, the eagle soaring, the warrior walking with Archangel Michael at your side. Beloved, let this sink deep. This is your empowerment. This is your shift. This is your night of identity revealed. Walk as one anointed. Speak as one chosen. Stand as one unstoppable. For your inheritance is not slipping away. It is arriving with force, and you are ready to carry it. Type I am empowered in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2020 is now flowing over your destiny. Beloved, the veil is lifting tonight, and heaven is disclosing what the adversary already knows but has tried to conceal from you. The reason the warfare has been so intense, the reason the pressure has pressed so hard against your spirit, is because this release is not ordinary. This $500,000 is not simply a number. It is a prophetic figure, a sealed decree, a covenant written beside your name in the eternal ledger of heaven. The adversary trembles because he knows that once this transfer is released, the balance of power in the spirit will shift permanently in your favor. This is not about money, it is about legacy. This transfer is your unlocking. It is the key that opens doors your family has been locked out of for generations. It is the seed that births harvests not just for you, but for every soul assigned to your obedience. When heaven releases this, curses are broken, patterns are shattered, cycles are ended. The enemy is terrified, because he understands the magnitude of what will be unleashed once this figure touches your hands. And hear this prophecy clearly. This release is not a one-time event. It is not a fleeting moment. It is the beginning of a continuous flow. For heaven declares over you, I have written your name not in dust that fades, but in the book of covenant that cannot be erased. This $500,000 is the seed of momentum, the opening of a river that will not run dry. The adversary has fought with fury because he knows this is not a trickle, this is a flood. Beloved, take courage, for your name has not been forgotten. The heavens have acknowledged your faith, the angels have spoken your name aloud in the courts, and the decree has been signed. What you feel pressing tonight is the proof that something irreversible is about to break through. If the warfare is this heavy, it is because the blessing is this weighty. If the opposition is this loud, it is because the release is this close. Do not measure the promise by your feelings, measure it by the fight. For the greater the warfare, the greater the weight of the covenant. And I tell you tonight, you are standing on the edge of manifestation. The heavens are aligned, the angels are dispatched, and Archangel Michael is cutting through resistance, even now. Your inheritance is marked, your transfer secured, your destiny about to be unveiled. This is your prophetic revelation. The warfare proves the magnitude of your blessing. The shaking is the sound of doors unlocking. The pressure is the sign of breakthrough birthing. You are on the cusp of seeing with your eyes what heaven already declared with its voice. Type "I receive" in the comments if this word has pierced your spirit. Blessing code 2121 is now ignited over your life. Beloved, if this prophetic revelation has stirred your soul, then hear this call. Do not let the word pass without planting seed into it. When you support through Super Thanks, membership, or through the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a platform. You are sowing into a covenant stream that multiplies the reach of God's voice. Just as the $500,000 is a seed for generational breakthrough, your gift becomes a prophetic act that sends this message deeper into the nations, breaking chains for those who would never hear without you. The Lord says, "He who sows generously will reap abundantly." And tonight your act of obedience is more than generosity. It is warfare. Release your support and watch as heaven releases fresh oil over your life. Do not delay, for this moment carries eternal weight. Sow into the word, and heaven will sow into your future. Beloved, the moment has come when heaven requires your voice, your agreement, your declaration. The courts above have spoken, the angels have moved, but now the earth must echo with your faith. Tonight is not a night for silence and fear. It is a night for bold decree. Destiny does not unfold by accident. It is activated by the words of faith spoken from your spirit. This $500,000 transfer is sealed, but your declarations are the keys that unlock its manifestation in your life. Say it aloud in your spirit. My inheritance will not be stolen. My covenant transfer will not be delayed. My breakthrough will not collapse at the edge. These are not empty phrases. These are decrees that reverberate in the unseen realm. For the adversary cannot cross the boundaries of a believer's faith-filled word. Heaven waits for your voice to match its decree, and when your yes aligns with heaven's yes, the release becomes unstoppable. But destiny activation is not only in words, it is also in action. Do not think heaven asks for great leaps tonight. Heaven asks for obedience in small steps. Pray with focus. Write the vision down. Place a marker of faith in the natural to mirror the decree in the spiritual. For each act of faith is a signal to the heavens that you are in agreement, that you are aligned, that you are ready to carry what is about to be released. Understand this mystery. Silence and fear becomes permission for the adversary, but a yes and faith becomes a chain-breaking decree. When you hesitate in panic, you give space for interference. When you rise in declaration, you authorize acceleration. This is why the Spirit urges you tonight. Do not shrink back. Do not let hesitation become the thief of timing. The heavens have done their part. Now the earth waits for your echo. Destiny is not passive. Destiny is activated. The transfer is not coincidence. It is covenant. And covenant requires participation. Speak it, act upon it, align with it, and watch as the heavens respond. The moment you rise in faith, angels move faster. The moment you declare in authority, interference weakens. The moment you act in obedience, doors swing wide. Beloved, let your spirit rise. You are not one overlooked. You are not one forgot. You are the heir of a covenant sealed before time began. The $500,000 written beside your name is proof that heaven invests heavily in you. And now, the activation of destiny is in your hands. Will you remain silent, or will you speak? Will you shrink back, or will you rise? I declare over you, rise tonight. Declare boldly. Move faithfully. Activate what is already yours. For heaven is waiting on earth's agreement, and earth is waiting on your voice. Type I activate destiny in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 2323 is now loosed over your inheritance. Beloved, open your spirit, for I will reveal to you what mortal eyes cannot see. Tonight, even as you listen, unseen negotiations are unfolding in the spirit realm. The courts of heaven are alive with motion. The scrolls of decree are being opened, and the adversary is pressing false claims against what is rightfully yours. But fear not, for Archangel Michael stands in that courtroom, sword drawn, voice thunderous, cutting through every accusation with the authority of the Most High. What was stolen is being retrieved. What was delayed is being accelerated. What was hidden is being revealed. This is the silent exchange, the holy transaction happening even now in the unseen. You may not hear it with your ears, you may not see it with your eyes, but your spirit already knows. That restless stirring, that uneasy awareness, that sense that something greater is moving beyond your reach, it is the confirmation that heaven is working. See the vision. Michael strikes, and with every strike, chains fall from heavenly ledgers where your blessing has been bound. He seals documents in the courts above with fire from his sword, declaring them untouchable by the adversary. As you remain still on earth, your case is being pled in heaven, and the verdict is turning in your favor. This is the mystery. While you sleep, your name is spoken in the chambers of glory. While you cry, your tears are recorded as testimony. While you wait, angels are dispatched with instructions for your breakthrough. The adversary may rage, but his noise cannot outweigh heaven's decree. The silent exchange is louder in eternity than every roar of opposition in the earth. Beloved, do not despise the restlessness in your spirit. Do not think the heaviness is random. Your soul sensed the negotiation before your mind could comprehend it. You felt the stirring because heaven is aligning what the adversary tried to scatter. You are connected, even without words, to the very courtroom where your destiny is being decided. That is why your spirit wrestles while your body sits still. Take comfort in this truth. Nothing is lost. Nothing has slipped away. Nothing has escaped heaven's record. What seemed stolen is not gone. It is being reassigned under divine authority. What seemed delayed is not denied. It is being accelerated according to kingdom timing. The transfer, the $500,000 marked with your name, is being secured at this very moment in a silent exchange the darkness cannot intercept. So hold your peace. Do not let worry steal your assurance. Do not let impatience blind you to the truth. The exchange is already in progress, and your inheritance is untouchable. Soon, what has been fought over in silence will manifest loudly in your life, a testimony to all that heaven rules and hell cannot overrule. You are not forgotten in this courtroom. You are not absent from this exchange. Your name is written, your case is heard, your blessing is sealed. Type IT is sealed in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 2424 now surrounds you with divine assurance. Beloved, hear the sound of heaven's gavel striking. Justice is already set in motion. The scales that once seemed uneven are being balanced in your favor. The adversary thought he could tip them against you, but the hand of the righteous judge has intervened. Tonight, divine justice begins to manifest, and every crooked scheme is being overturned. The $500,000 transfer the enemy tried to delay has now become a witness against him. What he sought to block will now multiply. What he sought to steal will now return sevenfold. What he whispered in secret will now testify against him in open exposure. See this clearly. Spiritual justice does not come quietly. It does not creep in like a shadow. It breaks in like a storm. Where they mocked you, heaven will exalt you. Where they doubted you, heaven will vindicate you. Where they tried to bury your name, heaven will cause it to rise. Every attempt to shame you will become a platform for your testimony. Every door they slam shut in your face will now be forced open before their very eyes. Do not think for a moment that your tears were wasted. Each one was collected, each cry recorded. The adversary thought your cries were signs of defeat, but in heaven's court they became evidence. They are proof of endurance, proof of faith, proof that you clung to God when everything shook around you. And now, heaven rules. Enough is enough. The season of delay is ending, and the decree of reversal has been released. Beloved, reversal means this. The very pressure that tried to crush you will become the power that lifts you. The very opposition that tried to silence you will become the trumpet that announces your rise. The very pit they dug will become the place where they fall, while you step forward untouched. This is the law of divine exchange. What the enemy meant for evil, God transforms into testimony. Picture this. The tables are turning. Those who once had leverage over you are losing their grip. Those who once held influence against you are being silenced. Those who once thought they controlled the outcome are being removed from the board. Heaven has decreed final order, and when heaven speaks, no power can reverse it. This $500,000 is not just restoration, it is justice. It is heaven declaring that your faith, your obedience, and your endurance cannot go unrewarded. The adversary tried to drag this blessing into darkness, but light has reclaimed it. You will see it with your eyes, you will hold it with your hands, and it will stand as living proof that God rules over the affairs of men. Lift your head, beloved. Justice is not coming someday. It has already begun. The decree is final, the reversal is in motion, the blessing is secured. Walk in the assurance that heaven has fought for you, and the outcome is already written. Type "Justice is mine" in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 2525 now releases divine reversal over your life. Beloved, let this truth settle in your spirit. Tonight's attack is not evidence of your weakness. It is proof of your weight. Hell does not fight what carries no value. The pressure you endured, the confusion you faced, the sudden disruptions that came without warning, they are all confirmation that what heaven has marked for you carries immeasurable power. The $500,000 transfer that has been targeted is not coincidence. It is covenant. It is not a casual blessing. It is a generational decree. Understand this. What heaven seals cannot be stolen. What heaven decrees cannot be erased. The adversary may roar, but his roar is powerless against the gavel of heaven's justice. Archangel Michael stands over you tonight, his wings stretched wide, his sword blazing in defense of your inheritance. The interference that rose tonight is already defeated. The snare that was set has already been shattered. The accusation that was spoken has already been silenced. You are covered. You are protected. You are sealed. Beloved, receive this blessing. May the hand of Michael cover you as you rest. May the courts of heaven declare over you that every cent, every portion, every resource marked for your destiny arrives without delay. May divine justice overshadow you, and may every voice of accusation crumble before the decree of the Most High. May you walk in assurance, not fear, in confidence, not hesitation, in triumph, not timidity. For you are chosen, you are seen, you are anointed. Rise with boldness, for your inheritance is guarded. Walk with assurance, for your name is written. Stand with strength, for heaven has already fought for you. This is your final heavenly notice. The blessing is coming. The adversary is defeated, and your destiny is unstoppable. You are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. Step into your inheritance, for the courts of heaven have spoken, and the word of the Lord shall not return void. Type "I am sealed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2626 is now activated over your life. Beloved, before we close, let me speak directly to your spirit. This word you have received tonight is not light. It is fire. It is covenant. It is destiny unfolding. And just as you have been strengthened, others too must hear this message of protection and breakthrough. When you release support through Super Thanks membership or through the PayPal link in the description, you are sowing into the spread of this prophetic fire. Your giving becomes oil that keeps this flame burning, light that pierces the darkness, rivers of living water flowing to the weary. The Spirit says, those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. As you refresh this work, heaven refreshes you. As you sow into the message, you reap from the promise. Do not hold back. Be a vessel through which the word runs swiftly. Release your seed, and heaven will release greater harvests over your life.